Hey everyone, J-Rod Plays here. Week 2 Guardian Games looks like the Warlocks have still won Guardian Games. Hasn't been fixed. So if you're in the tower and you already activated last week as the Warlock, get ready to have some more fireworks going all the time. Just getting back on after the servers were down most of the day to try to knock out the Platinum score, which I did. I got a 216, 815 score, which is pretty good for the arms dealer running with LFGs. Actually, I got kind of lucky. These guys were pretty okay with me getting up in the face of the Unstoppables and the Barrier Champions and kind of dancing to finish them once I had them strung up. And I just wanted to go over the build real quick, and so that way you kind of see what I did this week, especially if this is your first week farming Guardian Games, you missed last week. You're going to be grabbing the Strike one. Let me see what's it called. The Platinum cards Nightfall. If you're going to be farming the Arms Dealer Strike to try to get your Guardian Games completed this week instead of last week. Last week you could just do Neomuna for everything because it was the Neomuna Strike. In this case, you're going to be doing the regular Nightfall card this week. So going into the build, I was running Strand. I had my Wish Ender, so that way I could pop Barrier Champs, and I could also take care of enemies from farther away that were a little bit more dangerous. I was running Judgment of Kel'Garath in this case, so that way I could take care of the Unstoppables if they get a little too close. Usually I was stringing them up with my Broodweaver using the Shotgun Grenade, but I was doing this one just in case as a backup. I really didn't use it much throughout the whole fight. I was technically maining Circular Logic as my primary, just like I did last week with my Commemoration. I was using Circular Logic with my Keep Away Target Lock. I was running on the artifact the Defiant Armory to get additional nano rockets. Also still running Entangler, still running Allied Unraveling, Counterweave, and Threaded Blast so that I could take care of the full kit and string things up. I didn't get a whole lot of times to do this because frankly my Shotgun Grenade came back more often and it was such a close strike I didn't really need to be shooting the Strand stuff, and my teammates were grabbing them every now and then, but it was nice to have that as a backup. Back into the actual build, same thing as I normally run, Thread of Generation. From there's the Thread of Mind, so I have additional class energy back so I can try to survive. Orb of Power gives me Woven Mail, Thread of Warding, and Thread of Fury. This gives me Tangle, grants me melee energy so I can keep throwing out Threaded Needles. So I would pop my Shackle Grenade using the Mindspin Invocation, and I would get the Weaver's Trance and then toss this out, or I would get kills with the Circular Logic, which would string everybody up, would also put up the Strand Tangles that I could explode if I wanted to get a bunch of kills at once and get a Strand streak. I really tried to keep it within the Circular Logic, though, to be more accurate and pinpoint. I didn't want to kill champions too early. This is a strike, the Arms Dealer Strike, that's short still, so you really have to finish and try to get a emote off on every single mini-boss enemy. Anything with a yellow bar you want to get up in his face, get your emote off, and finish it to try to get the stacking bonuses between Giant Killer and the Insult to Injury with finishing touches, so that way you can get your score over that 175 this week on the shorter strike. Build-wise, it's pretty much the same build that I usually run. I'm always trying to get my class ability energy back as quick as possible, always trying to keep the melee going as quick as possible, and my Shotgun Grenade comes back quite a bit because of the way that the synergy works with things. I'm still running Fawn of Endurance, so that way when I pick up a orb, I have 100 resilience, plus I have the Woven Mail, so that keeps me tanky. I didn't really change this one here. I should have swapped that out to the Strand Weapon Surge, but I was just running like a regular strike, so I mean it's a Nightfall, but it's easy, so I didn't really mess with it. But I would swap that out to Strand. Other than that, again, just to review, my weapons have the Target Lock with Keep Away, Incandescent with Demolitionist, and then the Wish Ender just owns everything, and it's still super powerful in its current iteration, with the pretty cool new skin as well, if you didn't pick that up. It was the first skin that I'd seen in a while that I was interested in getting. I don't really like this particular skin so much, but this one here looks really nice and classy, and it still has the little cool statue engraving on the inside. And so you'll see that when I put the full run through in the video as well, and kind of run through me picking things up and getting my Taraxis post drops. Still haven't got a really good Cascade point. I really want to get one of those Cascade points, and maybe, let's see. Probably Moving Target Cascade Point is what I would like to get. That's the PvP role that I want to mess around with and play with. So I haven't had a chance to really play with a good cascade point roll and see that lightning speed kills that you get whenever you get a kill with your other weapon and swap off to it. But other than that, that's pretty much the main point as far as speaking on the video. I will go through a quick run that I had that I got my high score on and kind of comment over it so you can kind of see exactly what I did to get the full 200,000 plus score this week and light up all the pillars, get all the way to the end here. And then of course you're probably going to have to run a few times. I think you have to run maybe like 2 or 3 strikes to fill up that platinum medal card that you got, the platinum card. But other than that, pretty straightforward week. Nothing really great in the Eververse store, unfortunately. One thing that I would say that if you're new and you haven't gotten yet, that a lot of people are making like whole videos on, is the photo finish. It is a really cool shader. Once you have some of the Guardian Games stuff, especially if you were able to get to like the older Guardian Games gear, the gear from last year looks really sick. Let's see if they're actually still selling it. Yeah, this gear here looks really sick with photo finish because these accents will change colors, RGB, and so that's something that, especially on my Titan, I have running, and it's a really nice set. But if you guys have any questions, go ahead and leave them in the comments for me. I did get a few questions as well on your kind of weapons, where did I get them and things like that. So if you have any questions on how did I get the weapons and kind of how you can get them in this particular season, I'd be glad to help you guys out with that. Thanks very much for all the new subscribers as well. We're really close to 200 subscribers, so I really appreciate that. And I really appreciate, again, just you guys coming along the journey with me on my new YouTube channel. It's fairly new. It's only been out since the beginning of the year. So thanks very much again. You guys have a good weekend, and I'm going to sign off on this particular part of the video so that I can go into the commentary section. And if you were just looking for an update for this week, this is pretty much all you need to watch. But if you want to take a look and see specifically how to go through each particular encounter and try to maximize your point totals, especially right now since matchmaking is broken when it comes to the LFG through the app, so you can't like go in there and get LFG teams that you can talk to and stuff. You pretty much have to go random matchmaking. So good luck with that, guys. Good luck with your week, and you guys take it easy. Alright, now on to the actual video. I didn't actually get the recording started immediately, but just before this I did finish the 2 yellow bars, or the 1 yellow bar I believe in the other room, and now we're going out into the main area. It's a little bit dicey when you're with randoms because I had to run out here and stand in a rift and hope that I didn't get killed by everything around me, including the gunship coming in. And same thing with this legionary. I either died or almost died trying to get this kill, trying to get in there and make sure that I'm getting the finish, even though I didn't actually get the emote, which you'll hopefully have the ability to do so if you set up a team through LFG, or if the other team isn't quite doing so much damage to the yellow bars. So I try to make sure that I get every single one of them. Same thing here, I'm trying to make sure I'm emoting, waiting for the tick damage to bring him down into territory where I can finish him. Sometimes you lose a few ads, like we lost a few ads here. And as far as on the finishing, sometimes what will happen is the enemies, if you don't dot them up and you do a bunch of damage all at once, they'll get their health back. So you have to be real careful to assume that they're going to be finishable, because sometimes you, just like right in front of them, you're waiting, they're only like at 10% or 1% health, and they're still not finishable, and you're like, what's going on? Well, in a second they're going to get their health back, and you'll see that that may happen in this video. I can't remember if it was on one of these runs. And then here, of course, I was trying to be ambitious and get up in front of everybody and make sure that I get the Colossus in a position where I could finish him. And so I ended up getting killed here, which is unfortunate because you lose a little bit of points. You get points for going through the whole strike without dying. But my teammates were cool enough to see what I was doing, that I was emoting in front of them, and they were actually like working with me to get his health down, which was great. It's not always perfect though, because sometimes they're not coordinated, and so they'll hit him with 2 heavy hitting abilities at the same time and then end up burning him right in front of you, which kind of sucks. I think that happened to one of the champions or bosses in this one, so not 100%, because I've done a couple of runs. Now here I went over here alone to try to, the same thing, to try to get ahead of everybody and try to tie everything up and make sure that I can get to this Colossus before anybody else. So I'm here with the Hunter, I'm dancing, and I was ready to finish him, and so was the Hunter. So unfortunately I was able to get the finish in, because I don't know if the Hunter was emoting with me or not. These guys also dropped um, the ball to dunk, and so it's kind of annoying because I had to wait for another captain, and I thought that I was going to be able to get score off of this. But what you'll notice that if you kill the first one and you're waiting to get this second one done, you get like 0 points. So I was kind of like annoyed that I didn't get any points for that one. Once you dunk the ball here, you're going to get another Thresher coming in, so just get ready. There's not a whole lot you can do with the Threshers as far as score because they're really hard to kill. They eat up all your ammunition. They only give you a few hundred points. There's no crit spots. You can't kill the gun, so they're just annoying in general. Not just because they have tracking that's like the most ridiculous tracking in the world at times, and they have like some of the more instances of double damaging you, which can take you by surprise sometimes and kill you when you're not expecting it. This one here, I was lucky that they were able to kind of get him in a position where I was just able to get in there and not have to waste any ammo, because for whatever reason the strike was a little bit tight with heavy ammo. Even though I was running heavy finder, I just wasn't getting a lot of ammo back for my heavy even when I was low. When you run to the outside, you're going to have to expect a few Threshers and a bunch of the melee ads. So for those, I pretty much just picked at them with my bow. That way they don't kill my teammates and they don't get a chance to hide and then sneak up and kill me when I'm trying to get a streak and end my streak. And you can see here I'm sticking with the bow because I'm trying to get a primary streak going. And, you know, preferably you'd want to get a primary precision streak going at the same time too. And of course if you stay alive for long lengths of time, you'll continue getting the skirmisher medals, which are also nice on points. And there I finally got a heavy spree going. Here I'm getting in position. I'm burning him down and getting ready to finish him. I almost lost him there. On this gunship behind us, on the dropship, it does have that annoying cannon that you can actually pick at. So you'll see here in a second, once I get this shadow guard pretty low, I don't decide to run up there because I don't feel like dying. I end up going up there and popping the cannon with my teammate, whose aim is amazing, apparently. If you look at the bullets and where they were landing. Now I always try to get my super off in groups, so here I think I'm going to pop my super so I can get the Let There Be Light. And while they are nice to do damage to, you know, thicker enemies, it's better to use your super on this particular class if you have like a super where you can get a bunch of kills in a short period of time on ads. That way you get the points and just take your time and kill the big stuff with your primary or your secondary. Or if you have surplus heavy, you can hit them with your heavy, of course. But you see there, that was like a lot of points all at once, and it crossed the silver threshold for me. I got surprised by the NPC cabal who keep getting in my way every time I'm trying to take a shot. Like the most annoying teammates ever. Here I just had to get a finish in on these guys because I wasn't able to get in position to do an emote. Well, this one I was, even though I was getting wrecked by the guy on my right. Thankfully for the shields, it's not a problem. Same thing here, I'm getting in position and I get the finish off on this guy, but the Shadow Guard Centurions still apparently give 0, so that you can't just farm them over and over again by not picking up the orb, so that was a little waste of time. In the tank room, normally I would hide back and like pop the tank, but in this case I was like, you know what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go out there with my heavy, and I'm going to try to get as much heavy sprees as I can get. So I traditionally would pull off here and start picking at the tank, but in this case I hopped up and I said, you know what, let me get there, let there be light kills, and then let me go out there and try to get some heavy and strand kills and continue the spree that I was already starting at the very beginning here when I first landed from my super. In this variation of the strike, normally in the old one there would be a bunch of ads and stuff still waiting for you to kill, but there's no ads that spawn while the tank is out, so you have to kill the tank, and then out of this door here where I'm passing there'll be ads, and then another door at the very top. by the switch there'll be ads. But, fortunately my teammates were quick on killing the tank, and I was able to get in position to start getting these kills, string everybody up, get strand kills, get the demolitionists, I think is what it's called, whenever you get a bunch of grenade and melee kills. And here I am just waiting to finish. I ended up finishing the wrong thing. And then my teammate, fortunately, got that one. I hope he was able to get the emote, but I don't know if he was. Here I'm working on a primary spree, and I hit the incendiary here with my shotgun grenade, but I guess it just didn't connect, so I had to pull out my my glaive and get him into a stun state so we can do additional damages. And I don't know why, I think they got screwed there if I'm looking at the points. I think they didn't give me the full 10k points. I think it just gave me half for whatever reason, even though I was emoting. So that's a little buggy. Now my teammate, you can see he got a strand spree going. And here I was making sure that I was going to be able to get off my super and get the Let There Be Light on all of the turrets and try to get out of the way before I get melted by the turrets. That was kind of a successful mission there. And then I had a bunch of stuff spawning right next to me, so I said, okay, let me pop my grenade, let me go to town with my heavy. So you see the strand spree, the heavy spree. I got a rampage, strand rampage, and a heavy rampage. Here I had to just get a finish in, but as you can see, there it is, he got his health back. So now I'm going to be able to string him up and dance in front of him while the teammates get him low, or I think my own strand ability got him low, the unraveling. In the next section, when you're going through the 3 areas, you want to try to, again, continue to get your sprees up. So for me, I had no heavy, so I was going to really focus on getting primary kills and getting the Let There Be Light kills with my strand super that I was just about to get. You also want to make sure that you're keeping an eye on the turrets, because they can catch up to you real fast, even if you're standing in a rift, and kill you. And of course, the less death you have, the better score you're going to get at the end. Also, you can picket Brachus and kind of get him to move a little faster if you do a little bit of damage to him. And what's annoying with the flank shields, they're still bugged right now where anti-barrier won't pierce them when they're extended like that. As you can see, they'll go through their shield. I was shooting them initially, and the anti-barrier properties were working, but the moment the shield extends, you have to just shoot them in their little diamond, which is annoying because then you can't get the super kill, the primary kill for your precision at the same time. You can just get the primary. And here, same thing, I'm dancing in front of him, trying to make sure that I'm ready. And then I get the 10k points. It's really like 9,112 there, as you can see. And now we cross the platinum threshold before we even get up to finish the boss. This is a nice little grouping here too, so if you have something that can take out a bunch of stuff all at the same time, you want to try to make sure you get that done so you get a little bit of a streak there. Hopefully my partner was able to get that. One thing this hunter does here that kind of annoys me is he ends up taking his strand grenade and spawning all of the turrets before we can fully get up there. Normally on a GM, or in this case in any of these nightfalls where you're running a little bit higher difficulty, you don't want the turrets to spawn early because you want to be able to get around the corner and to the side. And my goal was supposed to be to get a strand spree going. I was going to sit behind the left corner there and get a strand spree going, but before I could even get up there, the hunter spawned the turrets by hopping up there with his strand grapple, which kind of screwed us over a little bit on points. But like I said, we've already hit the platinum, so everything is bonus from here. I was just trying to make sure I maximized my score. I wanted to get like 250 plus, but in this case I ended up getting like, I think like 220 is what it was in the end. And that's fine, you know, there's no emblem this year to vie for, and you don't have to worry about like top 1% or anything like that. It's just like a nice thing to have on your quest tab. Whenever you're looking at your quest tab, it tells you what percentage you are. And then of course you got the best in the tower. When you're running around with the high score, you end up with best in the tower when you're running around the tower, so people see that you're the high score in the tower. So my goal here, since I had plenty of heavy ammo still, was to run around and try to get a heavy spree growing and a heavy rampage. And I was using the Wishender, which does a great job to pick at Brachus, because I didn't want him to die too soon. You'll see at the very end of the battle that we have a bunch of ads up still that I was trying to work on, but the other teammates killed Brachus. since they probably just didn't care because I mean we already got our platinum, so they were like, okay, well we're done for the week for that. They're just trying to get their drops. And so here I'm just trying to get as many sprees as I can and trying to get rid of the cannon that's on the bottom of the dropship. You just gotta watch out for Zahn as he's trying to pick at you. Every time he goes back to the bottom, he'll also summon a bunch of turrets, which are nice to be able to pick at with your primary or your heavy to get your sprees going. They're a nice little grouping of enemies to start your spree, and they're easy to kill. And once you get him to his next phase, from here he's going to end up going up and summoning the Cabal Thresher. And just like last time, there's not a whole lot you can do points-wise for it, so what I'll do is I just pick it down with my bow. I used to try to hit them with the super to try to kill them very quickly when I was doing the GM, but for some reason the Broodweaver super just doesn't track really well to Threshers too, so that's kind of another buggy thing. You would think with such a big target that all your Threadlings would be able to attach and then subsequently explode, just wrecking the Thresher, but it just doesn't work like that. And now Brockus is there hiding from me, which is super annoying. Here comes the Thresher now. As you can see, the bow makes pretty quick work of the Thresher. I think it's like 6 or 7 shots from the bow and he'll pretty much be dead. I was just trying to shoot the rockets so that way they wouldn't end up grouping up on me and killing me with 4 or 5 hits in a row with double damage sometimes. And at this part it's a little bit hectic too because you have a bunch of friendly Cabal in your way, and so like sometimes I kind of worry that the super won't be able to reach the enemies and the Threadlings will get stuck on some of the friendly Cabal. And so here's the final phase of the boss. If you're trying to maximize your score, do not kill him here. Just get him to like half health, because then you see all this stuff spawning. So I was getting ready to pop my rift so that I could tank a lot of this Scorpius tank fire and get a streak going, which I did get a heavy spree, but I would have been able to get a rampage with all the ads that disappeared. But it's all good. So here I am. It's actually 216, 815 is what I ended up finishing at, and that's fine with me for the week. I get all 4 of my drops and get my rolls. Still didn't get my cascade point, like you can see in the other video where I was looking at my rolls, and I made sure to get everybody a commendation just in case they still need commendations for their weekly. But other than that, this is pretty much the same kind of setup as last week. It's just I have a Strand favored setup because it's Strand and I believe Solar this week are the 2 burns, the favorable burns. And once you get done with that, the next thing you want to do is just knock out your supremacies for the week, and you're done again with Guardian Games for the week. So for me, I'm just going to do that, finish that up, knock out a few Root of Nightmares runs, still trying to finish out a few of the raid weapons that I just can't get drops on normally, so I'm kind of stuck waiting for the red border chest and for the red border you can purchase to try to fill out those. But if you guys again have any questions, just like I was saying in the other portion of the video, feel free to reach out to me in the comments and I'd be glad to help you out. Thanks very much for watching. You guys have a good evening.